You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Well, Associated Press report discovered that a private Facebook group for Pittsburgh police officers became a place to spread hate online. Several pro-Trump members of the Pittsburgh-Area Police Break Room Facebook group often refer to Black Lives Matter as terrorists and thugs. They shared posts criticizing law enforcement who marched with Black Lives Matter and Democrats whom they often refer to as Democrats. Over time, the conversation within the group shifted from jokes about policing and memorializing fallen officers to racist and transphobic comments. In 2019, the Plainview Project shared thousands of racist, sexist posts from active and retired police officers in 8 other departments around the country. Now, Greg Carr, we ain't shocked by any of this. This is the stuff, though, that we need to understand that happens in these police departments, that people, oh, no, there are a few bad apples, but it's amazing. We keep hearing about racist cops in St. Louis, out of Florida, out of California, out of Pennsylvania, out of Georgia. We can go on and on and on. Can we stop playing games that we have white supremacists on these police forces nationwide?
No, because they've always been there. That's what the police means. Goes back, as we know, to the slave patrol. The two quick things right quick. From the story that you just covered, when we heard Dominique and Shireen talk about the Communications Decency Act of 1996 and Section 230, the platform gets to choose what to restrict or not. And as we heard, they're punishing black folk. They're taking us out of there. What the solution that Shireen offered is really the one. You have to almost treat them like public utilities, make them public, and then you tell them what to do. Otherwise, white nationalist groups like this, which we've always known to exist, will continue in this, and they'll be abetted by these private actors like Facebook, who then hide behind Section 230 by saying the law says that we're not responsible for what third parties post. So they're basically enabling them without any harm. So you got to do public relations. The second thing of the two is this. I'm glad you keep bringing up the third Reconstruction, because what we saw in the wake of the first Reconstruction almost immediately in places like Colfax in Louisiana, in places like North Carolina and other places, is that those white nationalists, in collusion with extra legal folk, so not just the police, but the Klan and everybody else, started almost immediately with voter intimidation, started almost immediately with violence and with this rhetoric to begin to claw back the loss that they felt in the Civil War. This is what's happening again. This rhetoric isn't harmless. It isn't just some people playing around on social media. You combine that with Brian Kemp using the alarm words, well, it's billionaires and left wing. No, that's like saying communists in that in 1950s. And that's like saying carpetbaggers in 1860 and 70. This rhetoric is of a piece of this larger problem that is going to finally be solved one way or the other. You can pass a law, which is going to be challenged in court, of course, that says you can't pass out water, but we are black people. So, we're going to arm people with 8 water bottles and a piece of chicken at the church before anybody ever goes to get in line. And then when you show up with your gun because you think the police going to be on your side because you've been monitoring the Facebook chat, when them young brothers and sisters in the Not Effing Around coalition in Georgia show up on the other side, this is when we're going to have a decision to make. All this is going to end up probably in violence, unless we come up with different types of solutions to disarm them. And part of it, I think, is disarming Facebook, regulating it like a public utility, and that then takes the decision out of the hands of Mark Zuckerberg, whose company's worth $800 billion right now.
Racist cops. What a shocker, Amisha.
It's one of those things where I'm like, color me surprised, Roland. At the end of the day, I agree with Dr. Carr here. We have seen generation after generation where police, law enforcement, to a large extent, the military as well, has become a home to white supremacists and white supremacist terror. So acknowledging the fact that they have found these private Facebook groups, and anything on social media isn't private. So that's, an oxymoron in and of itself. But they found these private Facebook groups where they feel it open enough for them to be able to have these conversations with each other where they not only share racial epithets, but they also share things that are essentially dog whistles to help to, stress their covert ideology around how they actually feel about Black Lives Matter, how they actually feel about the racial reckoning that we happen to be in, as well as how they feel about race and culture writ large. This tells us something not only about these officers, but about the fact that a continuation of people who are chosen to lead in law enforcement, who are chosen for these roles where they are to protect and serve, are individuals who inhabit very, very problematic viewpoints against people of color, specifically Black people. And that to me shows, again, this isn't a bad apple scenario, because if it was, we wouldn't see it across the country. We wouldn't see it for generations, time and time again, regardless of whether it's an urban or rural area. What we see is that this is the police department. This is who they are. And you cannot, and I get tired of hearing it, you cannot train your way into equity. That's not a thing. These are people who are brandished with guns and people who believe wholeheartedly that they are an elite class, that not only them, but their whiteness is an elite class, and that their job is to dismantle Black people, to dismantle the communities, to instill fear, to invoke violence. That is something where, I feel like this generation, when we talk about the defund the police movement, this is what they are talking about it for, because they recognize what many on the right, as well as some on the left, the moderates being the most spoken about, don't, in the sense that there's many people who are irredeemable. This is a system that is irredeemable. This is one that has to be broken apart and started anew. This is one that has to be removed from our culture as it exists today, because it is one that is more damaging than it is helpful. And it is one that automatically sees Black bodies as criminals. It is one that automatically sees Black bodies as something to dismantle and to disengage with. It is one that automatically sees Black bodies as not mattering. And it's one that automatically sees Black bodies as those that can be dismissed. And I think that that's very clear in those social media posts.
Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, I have to echo the things the other panelists said. This isn't anything new. And in 2019, we know the Plainview Project released a database of similar posts from 8 different police departments. And the project, it showed Facebook accounts of over 3,000 individuals, 600 which were retired officers, and they found thousands upon thousands of posts that were racist, sexist, advocated for police brutality. But I think this goes back to the point that both of the panelists made earlier, which is, this isn't something new, and these aren't individual bad apples. We know that the earliest iterations of policing are related to the slave patrol. When we talk about that mantra, related to the police that protect and serve, we're missing the second half of that statement. It's to protect and serve the interest of the ruling class. So the police, and extends to the military and all other state soldiers, essentially, are not here to protect us as Black people. It's not about finding a home for their rhetoric. Their very existence is white supremacist in nature. And that's why you don't see the National Guard mobilized when Black bodies are killed by police or the community watch. But, you let some Capitol burn down and then all of these entities are being mobilized, because that's what these institutions, that's what these groups are actually about. And, I always say it's why we have to not only defund the police, but completely re-envision policing, try and envision a world where policing doesn't exist, at least not in the way that we currently know it. And I always say to people who are like, it's not possible, it's not going to happen. There was a point where we didn't think enslavement was ever going to end. There was a point where we didn't think legal segregation was ever going to end. And yet here we are, because the collective power and will of the people is all that we need.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.